If you're thinking about buying a used car in the next 30 days, you need to watch this video to the end. Uh, if nothing else, take 5 minutes and watch the first 5 minutes because what you're going to learn in the first 5 minutes is going to blow you away. Uh, I really have some interesting information here that's going to help you, I think, save a lot of money. Probably a couple $1,000s at least. Here's what I found, and it's kind of scary. You know those Carfax reports that are supposed to protect you when you're buying a car? Well, unscrupulous people have changed the game. And wow, all I could say is wow. Listen to this. I'll start off with a real story that I read on an attorney's website that just blew me away. We used to name Sarah, okay, to protect whoever it is that this was about. Apparently, Sarah was working, a single mom working most of her life, and she was ready for that upgraded new car thing. She wanted to get her new car, or not new car, but used car. And she had saved up for 3 years, according to the story, and she went to a car dealership to purchase this vehicle that she saw when she was driving by every day going to work. And I think it was a 2016 or 2018 Toyota Camry or something like that. So she now has the money put away for a nice hefty down payment, and she goes to the dealership. She's standing in front of the car looking it over, and the car salesman walks out there, of course. And he says, "Hey, you interested in that car?" And she says, "Yeah, I really like it. It's gorgeous." He says, "Great." He says, "Let me pull the Carfax report for you." And he pulls it out and he says, "Look at this. There's no accidents. This is great. This is a great car for you." Anyway, they go through back and forth about the car, and she, goes out for a little test drive, and she really likes it. And he says, "Come on in the office and let's work the deal." So they work the deal out. She buys the car and gives them the big money down thing. She has the car. She's driving the car, and then all of a sudden, her hours at work get cut, and now she doesn't have the money, or she's lacking the funds to pay the monthly car payment without changing her lifestyle a little bit. And she didn't want to do that, so she decided it's time to trade the car and get something a little less expensive, a little less monthly payment. So she sees in another car dealership that they had a sign out that they give the most money for your trade-in. Place to go. She's got a trade-in. Let's see what they'll give me. So this is 6 to 9 months later from when she bought the car. And she goes there, and she walks in the office, and the salesman comes up to her. He says, "Hi, how you doing?" She says, "I want to downsize. I have my car out front here, and I want to trade it in and get something a little less expensive because my hours got cut at work." He says, "Sure, we understand completely. Give me the keys. I'll have my guys look it over, and we'll work a deal." Hands him the keys. She's waiting. 15 minutes goes by. The car salesman comes back in the office. Says, I guess we have a problem here. And she says, "What do you mean a problem?" He says, "Here's the Carfax report. That car's got a $8,000 worth of damage from an accident, including frame damage, according to the report." She says, "What? What are you talking about?" He says, "Look, it's right here." And she had brought her Carfax report that she got from the other dealership with her. And she puts them side by side, and she realizes that the 2 pages that had the accident report on it were taken out of the report that she got from the car dealership she bought it from. Well, when I read this, I thought, wow, I wonder how many people go through this. Is this something that happens frequently? So I started doing a little research. And wow, what I found out is going to blow you away. In 2024, there were 300 plus cars in Georgia alone that were sold by car dealerships with frame damage that was never listed on the Carfax report. And there's a way they do this, and I'll explain how that works. On Long Island, Suffolk County, Long Island, 33 people were arrested with 33 people were arrested, $5.5 million in Carfax fraud. 25 years in prison, by the way. They were doctoring Carfax reports to sell cars. And there's so many of them. There was 100 in California. There was another 100 in, I think, Washington State, where they were using what's called the 6-month lag period. And it's car washing. Wow, car washing just blew me away. I never even realized they were doing that. What a car dealership would do is they would send their guys, their buyers, to the auctions. They would look for cars that are in accidents, that are at the auctions, that are still wrecked, that an insurance company or something traded in, put up for auction. And the buyer would call the car dealership and say, hey, run this VIN for me. They'd run the VIN and they'd say, what do you got? He said, well, I got this car with some pretty serious accident. Has it been reported yet? Nope. He says, good, print that report. I'm buying this car. They'd take the car back to the dealership. They'd buy it for pennies, by the way. They would fix it up in their body shop, because most car dealers have body shops, and they would put it on their lot. And they would tie that report with it, with that no accident on it. So the person seeing it would never see the accident even happen. And the reason this works is because there's roughly a 6-month lag from when it's reported, the accident is reported, for it to get onto the Carfax report. 6 months. So if they buy that the first 2 months and they print that report out, they have a clean car. That's not a clean car. And they bought it for pennies and they sell it for thousands, multiple thousands. It's a pretty serious problem. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all of this is, and by the way, I'm going to include links in the description for the different sites that I found with all the evidence and proof of this. These are attorney websites, DMV websites. So this is not something I'm making up. This is the real deal. This is really going on, and it's rampant, and it's very serious. And think about this. When you buy a car, that's your second largest purchase you typically make in your lifetime. Your first, obviously, is your house. And for some people who can't afford a house, it's their largest purchase. You need to protect yourself. Well, Sarah learned a very, very hard lesson. She was disgusted. She said, I did everything right, and they still got me. They still burned me. I did the research on the car I wanted. I looked up how much it was worth. I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I still got burned. And that's sad. I'm sorry. That's very sad. So me, being in this industry, I worked 20 years in the auto body industry. I had my own body shop for a while, and I became a consultant. I was an insurance adjuster for a while. So I'm very familiar with the car industry. And that's one of my backgrounds, by the way. And then I got injured after 20 years, and I had to change careers, and I learned IT, and that's where we're coming to now. I volunteer for an organization called Ride to Work Ministries. We provide cars or transportation to people starting over in life, people who had their luck was terrible. And anyway, my job in that organization, because of my background, is to find cars, to find vehicles for these people that are starting over in life. I've seen so many people get burned in the 2+ years I've been working there now. Oh my God, it's horrible. So I decided, with my knowledge of SaaS, which is software as a service, I could develop an application that possibly could help people to buy a car and not get burned. Well, when I heard about this vehicle history thing going on, I thought, my God, how is this all happening? And I really did some heavy research, and I found out that Carfax is a great product, by the way. But if it's manipulated, it's a terrible product. It's a deceptive product, but it's not their fault. It's the dealership's fault. It's the corrupted people that are taking pages out and editing and using Photoshop to change a report. That's what makes it bad, not Carfax. But Carfax, to the dealership, is free, by the way. Well, I shouldn't say free. The dealerships pay a subscription for unlimited reports so they can pull them up anytime they want. To have a dated report, no, that's a big red flag. If they hand you a report that's 3, 4, 5 months old, you don't want that car. There's something wrong there. Okay, they can pull that report today, and it doesn't cost them anything extra. So if they give you a dated report, there's something wrong. So keep that in mind. But more importantly, what I found out was that Carfax charges you, the buyer, $44.99 for one report. And I thought, wow, that sounds like a lot of money. So if I'm looking at 2 cars, it's going to cost me $90, and 3 cars, it's going to cost me $130. Yikes, that's expensive just to investigate a car that I want to buy. But it turns out you can't trust the dealerships. And they don't all do that. Okay, don't get me wrong, but there's a big percentage that do it apparently. And I don't want to be caught in that. And I know you don't either. I understand that. So I figured if there was a way that I could help people and guide them to the right place, they could become the warrior. They could become the person that's buying something at a reasonable price that doesn't have damage, that they're not going to find out 6 months later they made a big mistake. And so I researched the vehicle history industry, and I found a database supplier, and I'm not sure if they supply Carfax, but boy, when you put them side by side, you'd swear they do. And I found out what they charge per report, and I marked it up a few dollars and put it on my website. And here's what you'll get. You'll get virtually the same report as Carfax for $15.99 as opposed to $44.99. And I even put together a 3-pack for $39.99. So if you're going to buy, or if you're going to look at 3 different cars, you got that option. Anyway, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is there's 3 things you must do before you lose a big percentage of your hard-earned money. Number 1, I don't care who you get it from. If you want to pay Carfax, that's fine. Pay the $44. If you want to get it from me, that's better. I like that. I make a couple, $3. But you must get a vehicle history report before you put your money down on a vehicle, before you hand over your cash, before you make that decision. That's number 1. Number 2, with that report, you go into that dealership empowered. You go in as the warrior. You are now on a level playing field. You know the history. You can check and see if they're lying to you because you'll know what they're supposed to say and what they do say. And you can negotiate a better deal. And not only that, the Carfax report and my report both have the private party price, the trade-in price, and the dealer retail. So if the dealer retail for that day is $12,000 for that mileage car, and they're asking $16,000, you show them, say, look, this is what the car is worth today. Let's start there and let's negotiate. They may not come down all the way, but at the same time, I'll bet you they drop it $1,000, $2,000 because they want to make that sale. Understand that you come in with a weapon. You come in with a powerful tool, and you come in empowered to buy the right car with the confidence that you're not going to get burned. And I'd like to end this story. I'd like to end this video, I should say, with a story about Sarah's outcome, because it's not as bad as it all sounded. Sarah found an attorney that dealt with car fraud. She hired that attorney, and he wound up getting her car paid for by that dealership and an extra $5,000. And now what she did was she bought a vehicle history report when she bought her next car, by the way, and she walked out of there smiling. She bought exactly what she wanted. She got a car that didn't have prior history, that wasn't showing up, and she bought with confidence. And that's what you need to do. She is no longer the victim. She is now the warrior in her story. She is now the person who has won the fight to buy a car, and it shouldn't even be that. Buying a car should be a pleasure, but it's not, unfortunately. And unfortunately, because of unscrupulous people, we have issues that we have to deal with like this. By the way, I'll have links in the bottom of this video that if you want to check up on everything I said, it's all there. I didn't make any of this up. It just blew me away when I read this. I could not believe the fraud that's going on. So that being said, please go to Car Value Scout before you buy the Carfax report. And if you don't trust my report, you still can compare them side by side. I offer a free version to look at. You go to the vehicle history page, click the links, and pull them both down and look at them side by side. You'll see that I have so much in that report, identical to what's in the Carfax report, for a third the price. Now, if you want to buy Carfax, that's fine too. It's a great report. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. I just feel it's way overpriced. Way overpriced. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps, and see you in the next video.